"21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein." "Yes, ma'am." "Case? It isn't gas? What's the address?"
You are in the muster room at the 21st Precinct, the nerve center. Call is coming in. You will follow the action taken pursuant to that call from this minute until the final report is written in the 124 room at the 21st Precinct.
All right, ma'am. You'll have assistance there right away. Yes, ma'am, right away.
21st Precinct. It's just lines on a map of the city of New York. Most of the 173,000 people wedged into the 9/10 of a square mile between 5th Avenue and the East River wouldn't know if you asked them that they lived or worked in the 21st. Whether they know it or not, the security of their persons, their homes, and their property is my job. My job and the job of the 160 patrolmen, 11 sergeants, and 4 lieutenants of whom I'm the boss. My name is Kennelly, Frank Kennelly. I'm captain in command of the 21st.
What makes a city? Not buildings, not subways, not business. People make a city. From dawn to midnight, from midnight to dawn, the rich and the poor and the good and the bad pour their lives together and stir up the city, as in the 21st.
I was out of the precinct on my way to division headquarters. There was a meeting of precinct commanders in connection with new regulations for the supervision of cabarets and dance halls. It was 8:38 a.m. when the radio call went out.
2-1 Precinct, 5313 and 314. The address 614 East 76th Street on the second floor.
All right, turn around, Johnny. Let's take a look.
Emergency squad and ambulance responding. Okay.
When we turned into 76, I could see we had plenty of men on the job. 2 sector cars from the precinct were in front of 614, an old law tenement. So was the sergeant's car. Ahead of them were the emergency service car and an ambulance. You stay with the car, Johnny. Police officer. Excuse me. Coming through there. Police officer. Oh, what have we got, Coley?
A couple of kids, Captain.
Gas case?
Stay back, folks. There's nothing to see.
Nobody's been down since I was posted here, Captain. I haven't heard anything.
Thanks. Oh, Coley, stop in and see me after the tour, will you?
Yes, sir.
Now, stand back there, folks. There's nothing to see. It's all...
The house was no better, no worse than 1,000 others like it. No cleaner, no dirtier. Even at that time of the morning, you could smell cabbage cooking. Somebody's always cooking cabbage. It's cheap. At the top of the stairs, the cop was posted in front of the rear flat on the second floor. All the neighbors had been shooed back behind their own doors. In the kitchen, a young woman, her hair in curlers and wearing a faded house coat, sat in the corner sobbing. In the other room, the ESD men and the ambulance surgeon were laboring desperately with respirator equipment. Sergeant Burns was standing in the doorway between the 2 rooms. What do we got, Sergeant? 2 kids?
Yes, sir.
Is that the mother?
Yeah. They're twins. 2 boys, 9 weeks old.
How are they?
I don't think it looks good. Let me try for a pulse again here.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Hold it there.
All right.
Where's the father?
He was a corporal in the Air Force. Killed in the crash in Alaska 7 or 8 months ago.
Oh.
She said that since she brought the twins home from the hospital, she's been keeping them in a couple of dresser drawers. These. She said she puts the 2 drawers on the table at night right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the twins got wrapped in tight in a blanket in his own drawer. Then she uses this yellow blanket across the top of both the drawers. That's what knocked them out. Blanket on top.
What's her name?
Lucas. Mrs. Ruth Lucas.
Let's talk to her, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. How's it look, Doc? Not very good, Sergeant.
Come on.
Mrs. Lucas, this is Captain Kennelly.
Oh, my babies. They're dead, I'm first.
The doctor and the emergency squad are trying to save them. Respirator's still working.
Poor little baby.
We'd like to find out how this thing happened, Miss Lucas.
If you want, I don't care. I was just going out today to buy a crib for them. I cut out an ad from the Mirror last night. At Kimball's, they're having a sale on baby things. I was going down there today. The ad's in my pocketbook in there if you want to see it.
No, that's all right.
If you don't mind, I think I ought to have my pocketbook anyway. I cashed my checks from the government yesterday. There's $100 in my pocketbook. More than 100.
Where is your pocketbook?
In there on the dresser.
Would you get it, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. Right away, Captain.
How much do you get from the government, Miss Lucas?
Altogether, you mean?
Yeah, altogether.
From both Social Security and the pension, it comes to about $145.
A month?
Yes, a month. That's for me and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the checks come, I pay the rent. That's what I did yesterday, the rent and a little bill at the candy store. There's about $100 left.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Did you talk to the doctor? Is there any sign? You know.
He was busy.
Oh.
As long as you've got your pocketbook, Miss Lucas, you said you wanted to show me that ad.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get Mrs. Gonzalez to come and stay with them this morning while I went downtown. She stays with them when I have to go out. It's very nice for me. She lives upstairs on the 4th floor. This was the ad. It was in the Mirror.
Mm-hmm. All your money there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Well, maybe you ought to look anyway. There's been a lot of people walking through here this morning.
Yeah, it's all here. It's a funny time to be worrying about money. I'm sorry.
Well, you've always got to worry about money. Weather's been pretty warm out, Miss Lucas. Seems to me you have them wrapped up in a lot of blankets.
They've got to be kept warm. They're still so young. There was a blanket for each, the blue ones. I always wrap those around them. And then I always put the yellow one over the top of the drawers, you know.
Did you tuck it in under the drawers, the yellow blanket?
Yeah, it never touched them. That's why I can't understand how it happened. It never came more than this close to them. It was just to keep away any drafts. And there was at least this much open space over their heads. Only thing I can figure is they're getting so they can kick a little. One of them must have kicked it, you know.
You put them to bed last night?
Yes. About 6 o'clock, and then about 8, Mrs. Gonzalez came. Stayed with him for a couple of hours.
Where were you?
I went out with a friend of mine.
Where?
You know, around we went to movies. We went and had some pizza and a bottle of beer.
Girlfriend?
No, man. Well, I met after Harry died.
What's his name?
Why?
Oh, I just wanted to know.
Oh, Dan. Dan Torvald.
Where is he now?
Work, I guess. He's a mechanic. He works for a taxi company.
What taxi company?
Ace, something like that. I don't know.
Where does he live?
Uptown in the Bronx. I don't see what he has to do with it. He had nothing to do with it. He's just a friend of mine, that's all. Could you hand me that box of tissues, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I don't get it. I just don't. The babies were all right when I came home. Mrs. Gonzalez takes good care of them. She said she changed them, and she gave them a bottle about 11:30, and they went off to sleep again. I just don't get it.
What time did Dan bring you home, Miss Lucas?
Oh, I don't know exactly. It was before midnight, I think, a little before midnight.
Did he come upstairs with you?
Why?
Oh, just wanted to know.
Sure, he came up. He sat a while after Mrs. Gonzalez left.
What'd you talk about?
Dan and me, you mean?
Yeah.
Nothing in particular, just talk, that's all.
You got up this morning about 8:30. That's kind of late for the mother of 2 infants to get up, isn't it?
I never set the alarm. The babies are my alarm clock. They usually wake up about 6 o'clock or so, and I hear them cry. Poor kids. I don't get it.
Sergeant, you're not? Can I see you a minute? For sure. Captain?
Okay. Excuse me, Miss Lucas. I'll be right back. Well, how's it look?
Captain Kennelly, Dr. Mastico.
Glad to know you. Yeah. Well?
They're both dead. They were DOA. There wasn't even any use trying.
You have any idea what the cause of death was?
I don't know. It wasn't anything external. Probably suffocation. I'm going to pack up. You'll notify the medical examiner, Sergeant?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. There wasn't anything that could be done.
I know.
Yeah, excuse me. I've got to pack up.
Rough deal, Captain.
Yeah. After you call the ME, Sergeant, notify the detectives. Tell them we've got 2 suspicious deaths. Possible homicide. The longer you're in the job, the easier it is to do the hard thing. But there's one thing that never gets easier. That's telling a mother her kid is dead. I told Mrs. Ruth Lucas that both of hers were dead. I left Sergeant Burns in charge with instructions to wait for the arrival of the medical examiner and the detectives. Sector men were ordered to resume patrol. On the way downstairs, I thought of a squeal I investigated as a detective before the war. A mother, a girl from a good, hard-working family, couldn't stand her baby crying day and night. She grabbed him by the throat and strangled him. That was messier, but the twins were just as dead.
She did. I tell you, she did.
All right, lady. You'll get a chance to tell your story. Oh, hello, Captain.
Captain? Are you the captain?
Yes, that's right. Coley, keep the people moving.
Yes,
huh?
sir.
Now, look.
Kill those babies? I know it.
That's a very serious accusation, ma'am.
I'm making it.
What's your name?
And Mrs. Gonzalez, Mrs. Mary Gonzalez.
Are you the woman who stayed with the babies last night?
That's right. I stayed with them all the time. I loved those babies. She had no use for them. No use at all.
Well, that doesn't mean she killed them, Mrs. Gonzalez.
Oh, don't it? She wanted to marry this Dan Corbett, but he didn't want any ready-made family. She told me that herself.
When did she tell you that?
Well, last night. Before that, even.
Look, Mrs. Gonzalez, I'd like you to talk to the detectives who are handling this. Have you got time to come to the station house now?
Right now?
I'll give you a lift in my car.
Oh, I was just going out to the butcher.
All right. And the detectives will come around to see you.
Oh, I'll go. I'll go now.
Okay. Come on. Don't forget to stop in, Coley.
Yes, sir.
I love those babies. Couldn't have loved them more if they were my own grandchildren. And I got 2 grandchildren in Jersey City.
What time did she get home last night?
It was after midnight, way after midnight.
Miss Lucas said it was before midnight.
Oh, thank you. It was after. I came at 8 o'clock and she gave me $1.25 for 5 hours. That goes to show you I love those babies.
Station house, Johnny.
Wouldn't mind children for that unless I loved them. And I was always bringing them things. Toys and clothes and things like that.
She, told me that Dan Talbot came home with her last night, Miss Gonzalez.
Yes, I pronounce it Gonzalez. I'm not Spanish, you see. That was my husband's name, my second husband's name. Rest his soul.
Did they, say anything in your presence?
Well, no. When they came, she just gave me the $1.25 and I went upstairs. But I could smell liquor on her breath.
Was she drunk?
Well, she'd been drinking. I could see that. And I could see she didn't love them. I loved them. I spent more money on them than she ever paid me. A lot more. She killed them. I know she killed them. She was much sicker than that.
The woman continued talking all the way to the station house. She told me everything she knew and everything she suspected. She ran the gamut from fact to rumor to guess. When we got there, I took her upstairs to the office of Lieutenant Matt King, who commanded the 21st Detective Squad. Then I walked down the rickety stairs through the back room. 2 division plainclothesmen had a sharply dressed policy rider there prior to booking. The 124 man was posting the newest teletype alarms. I walked out into the muster room. Sergeant Klein on the boxes waved at me, and I walked over.
Couple of messages for you, Captain.
Yeah?
Call division headquarters.
Okay.
Mrs. Franklin called. She says she's president of the PS 181 Parent Teachers
Oh, yes.
Association.
Call her back, Sergeant, and tell her the order came through. We're posting a patrolman at that crossing before and after school beginning Monday.
Yes, sir. And Father Tanazzi called and asked whether you'd like to speak to the boys' club this Wednesday or next Wednesday. Either date is open.
Oh, which did he prefer?
He didn't say anything, Captain.
All right, I'll phone him. Get me in division.
Okay, Captain. This is the 21st Precinct. Captain Kennelly to speak to Deputy Chief Inspector DeAndrea. We're